Emotional maturity is the mingle of intelligence and accountability. It's the capacity to recognize our emotions as natural reactions and respond accordingly to these signals with conscious and healthy action. This mastery equips us to form, maintain, and balance meaningful connections of all kinds. That said, emotional maturity can be summarized with 4 core categories, each providing a stepping stone for the next stage of maturity. These 4 categories are awareness, regulation, empathy, and social skills. Let us explore why these traits are essential for healthy emotional development. Firstly, awareness. Understanding why emotions arise in the first place helps us to identify the root of our reactions. This insight becomes the foundation we build emotional regulation on, as regulation is how we manage emotions, an act coming from clarity and control. By recognizing why we feel something, we see that emotions are not the cause, but the after effects. They are responses to conscious or subconscious thoughts, each reflecting whether we perceive something to be beneficial or a threat to our safety. It is this choice of focusing on ourselves and looking to understand our own views that leads us to the next step. The second step of regulation becomes an intentional practice, a habit that is incorporated in your everyday life. It's the commitment to understanding and reinforcing your sense of safety, both mentally and physically. Here, while learning to recognize what we are feeling and thinking, we become equipped and knowledgeable enough to identify the beliefs that drove those responses. It is through this practice of self-inquiry that you can assess and make actions that support yourself. Through your commitment to safety, you will analyze what you actually believe is true and what you tell yourself. What story? Here you assess that story you've been telling yourself and compare it to how it matches reality. After gathering information to clarify reality, we can then take action that truly supports the most safety and well-being. Once we have regulated our mind and emotions, the nervous system delightfully follows. This natural regulation provides space for our third step, the ability to consider someone else's point of view. In the first 2 steps, we practiced empathy for ourselves. With compassion and curiosity for our own ideas and views, we now expand that open and willing attitude towards others. By considering their unique view, we look to understand how they see the world, as well as how safe they feel in it. By taking into consideration their needs and safety alongside your own, you grant room for connection and even start to build it as you learn another person. The specific skill set is what is required to form and maintain healthy connections. A mutual collaboration is the core of every healthy relationship, one where we not only learn each other, but listen and take into consideration those thoughts, feelings, and therefore needs. It is why social skills falls into the last building block for emotional maturity, as it's the after effects of learning how to control and manage your own emotions. It was by feeling and learning patience and empathy for yourself that you could regulate your own emotions. Only then could you mirror that outwards to others, to healthily interact and be conscious of another person's feelings and needs, let alone to consider their sense of safety. All skills were first acquired and matured through interacting with yourself, where you learn how to be with you. From here, we can see how awareness, personal regulation, and the act of empathy grants us the ability to strengthen our connections and interactions. Be it with strangers, work colleagues, friends, and/or romantic partners, you will have the capacity and capability to maintain healthy interpersonal relationships, all by taking into consideration your safety and their own. For those this is already natural and habitual for, this lesson may do nothing more than sharpen up or brush up your expertise. Though for those who get the concept but have a hard time putting it into perspective and action, allow this to give you more information, maybe that missing piece that makes it all make sense. There's a reason you don't fully get how, why, or what to do when it comes to dealing with emotions. There's a reason you don't make actions to hone this skill. And there's a reason why you fall off into old patterns. Whether it's not seeing the use or perhaps being scared or confused, emotional maturity is something you make an effort in. It is refined through self-reflection, curiosity, and dedication. With both conscious and unconscious efforts, this maturity is learned, observed, and copied. From our infant years, we had role models, positive and or negative, who showed us how to think, act, and see the world. What we were taught about our feelings, why they occur, and how to address them will impact where you are at in your emotional development. This is due to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form and strengthen connections through repeated use. It's what allows recognition in habits and resilience, and is what ultimately determines our mental emotional development. For those emotionally immature, you have strong mental muscles in areas that restrict healthy development. Maybe you're real buff when it comes to overreactivity or impulsiveness, but weak when it comes to empathy and patience. With it being your sole responsibility to see where you are at and educate yourself, only you can take care of the needs that you have to the best of your ability. What can help motivate you to commit to this practice is that you can learn your own strengths and weaknesses to mentally customize and build who you want. Emotional development is a choice, and for some, it will take more effort because it's easier to slip into old pathways. Though if you want something, you go after it and choose it. A bit of effort and temporary discomfort will always be better than effortless, prolonged suffering. For those looking to create these new neural pathways for emotional maturity, you must take specific action that supports this development. If you're looking on how to do this, check out my next video that will discuss the practical steps on how to cultivate emotional maturity. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Bye.